To say that he takes it for granted is not fair.
You're talking about words of President Trump versus literal actions of the Biden administration. Again, and I'll use these words. They go out there and they treat our service. His son did serve in the military, but he's treating the rest of the military like we are disposable.
Welcome back to the Dvory Darkins Show. So 2 nights ago, President Trump did a speech at a Jewish event, Jewish Americans. It was all pro-Israel and talking about the anti-Semitism that has been rising in recent times in America. Case in point, the riots that you've seen or heard about on the different university campuses that have led to the presidents of those organizations resigning and also being summoned to Congress. Anyhow, he is now under fire for making comments about the Medal of Honor and that a lot of people might be misunderstanding him because they hear with their feelings and not their brain. Roll it.
First of all, thank you. Sheldon and Miriam were best friends together, and I was in their group, and we just had always a great relationship. Known her for a long time. Sheldon was one of the greatest businessmen in the world, and she's turning out to be one of the greatest business women of the world. You're doing a great job. But I really have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's right. And they're rated equal. But she got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and she got it and that's through committees and everything else.
Let's talk about it. He stated that the Presidential Medal of Freedom was actually much better. These are his words, by the way. Why? Because the Congressional Medal of Honor, you only receive it if something bad happens to you. Either one, you were killed, or two, you got blown up. Either way, one is something that people would obviously strive to achieve, and the other, majority of 99.9% of soldiers would love to avoid. And so this brings me to my opinion on this, which is President Trump is the type of personality that is not going to elaborate when he makes a statement, for better or for worse. He's a very blunt and direct individual. Now, that's how I was raised. I love it when people speak very direct and blunt. I seem to get exactly what they say. But for other people, that's not how they communicate. What you say isn't always what someone hears. And so obviously what he was saying was, if you compare them, right, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is better to receive because you obviously did not experience a tragedy in your life, as in you were not blown up, or you're not receiving it after the fact that you've been killed. If you're listening, maybe you are like, yeah, that totally makes sense, Dvory. What's all this backlash? Well, we have to remember, we're in politics. And when you're in politics, you have people like this. Roll it.
Just heard from Gold Star father Khizr Khan responding to comments made by the former president, saying that the Medal of Freedom is much better than the Medal of Honor.
I was not surprised. Trump is being himself. He has inherent contempt of men and women serving in uniform and those who have served.
My next source knows a lot about serving and military sacrifice. Brian Mast is a decorated U.S. Army veteran who served in Afghanistan as an explosive ordnance disposal technician. In 2010, he lost both of his legs when an IED exploded in Kandahar. 6 years later, he was elected to Congress as a Republican from Florida, and he joins me now. And Congressman, one, thank you for your service, and thank you for being here. I want to get your take on what you heard from Mr. Khan there.
The exact opposite of what Mr. Khan said. He said hate numerous times about what President Trump said. What President Trump said was insightful. There's nobody that goes and seeks to win a Medal of Honor. There's no service member that says, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get that Medal of Honor, because it's something that you earn because of the valor that you show under the most deadly combat circumstances. Nobody wants that, just like nobody wants a Purple Heart. It's not a celebration of an event when it's bestowed around your neck. It's a celebration of the valor of the individual, but not of that event. So, I would beg that question to all of America. Many people seek to get a Presidential Medal of Freedom. They try to get it. They celebrate getting it. Nobody seeks to get a Medal of Honor. I would say, yes, it is better to get that. It's certainly a higher honor to receive the Medal of Honor because you served in combat. But the Presidential Medal of Freedom is something that people really want to get. That's a distinct difference.
Obviously, the congressman was right. I think he makes total sense. Why would someone wake up in the morning and want to get the Congressional Medal of Honor? Listen, I served 13 years in the Army. One thing I caught on to very quickly was this ego that drives a lot of soldiers to want to go to war, not necessarily because it's a matter of how much they love their country. They want to go to war because they want the badges, they want the awards, they want to be recognized. And when we have soldiers going down that path, it's not good, because the sacrifice that comes with making a decision like that, I don't believe is worth the awards or the Purple Heart or the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's not worth it. I remember I had this client when I did life coaching full time, and he was like, yeah, I really want to be a Navy SEAL. I want to be a badass Navy SEAL. And I used to say, why would you want to do that? He's like, well, what do you mean? It's cool. I said, do you understand the sacrifice that comes with wanting to live that type of life? Do you understand that there's a good chance that whoever you marry, you will probably get a divorce? There's a chance that your relationship with your kids will not be the best. There's a chance that you're not going to fit into regular society, and for the rest of your life, you will be different. There's a chance that PTSD is highly likely. Why would you want to do that to yourself? And obviously, there's a chance you're never going to come home. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that no one wants to get a Congressional Medal of Honor, just like the congressman said. It's not worth it. It's not something we love to celebrate. We don't even love celebrating Purple Hearts. I don't like seeing Purple Hearts because that means that person was injured. That means they're probably on medication. They're probably stuck in rehab. They probably have PTSD, which means they're more likely they probably had a divorce. It's not a good look. But trying to explain this to someone who, when they hear the word Trump, all logic goes out the window. And for someone like Kaitlan Collins, she fits the bill.
But Congressman, I think maybe people would see this differently if it didn't come in the context of the other comments Trump has made about John McCain and saying he prefers soldiers who aren't captured in war. What General Kelly confirmed that Trump did make the comment about losers and suckers when he was on that Paris trip in 2018. And I think it's the wider context of comments that people around him and that we've heard him make himself about John McCain respectively, denigrating military service.
He does not denigrate our military. He loves our military. They are the party. We are the party. President Trump is the candidate. J.D. Vance is the candidate that want to make sure our individuals, that their service is not squandered like what happened with the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Harris and Biden, they squandered the service of every veteran that served in Afghanistan because of that withdrawal, because they failed to talk about the failures that exist there. They look at us
Well, I'm not sure that's
disposable.
fair to say, Congressman.
I think it's fair. They see us as disposable. When President Biden goes out onto a tarmac, checks his watch, they're seeing us as disposable individuals. When they don't calculate the cost of war for when you come home, right now, let's talk about a factual thing. If you're in the VA right now and you're getting care for mental health counseling in the community, the Harris-Biden administration is trying to strip you of your community care. They want you to come back into the VA no matter the wait times. That's the population most vulnerable of 22 veterans a day suicide.
But Congressman,
that's the Harris-Biden administration.
I think you can disagree with them on policy, disagree with them on the Afghanistan exit. We've had plenty of Republicans here who have. But to say that President Biden it doesn't appreciate military service given his son, I think you would agree that's an unfair comment.
I wouldn't say that at all. We're comparing.
To say that he takes it for granted is not fair.
You're talking about words of President Trump versus literal actions of the Biden administration. Again, and I'll use these words. They go out there and they treat our service. His son did serve in the military, but he's treating the rest of the military like we are disposable, and we are not. And that's the way that his administration has treated service members on the battlefield and those that came home, as though we're disposable items that you can get rid of.
I think that there are certainly people who would disagree with that, and the fact that his son served as well. Congressman Brian Mast, thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, so let's talk about a few things that I noticed. Number one, clearly they know what they're doing. They are prepared to rebuke anything that a person who does not agree with them might say. And her rebuke obviously was the son of the sitting president of the United States, which actually does not have nothing to do with this conversation. But of course, they're really good at reaching and placing things into the conversation to obviously discredit who they are getting into a debate with. Number two, that is a stain on President Biden's record. As of right now, there were 13 Marines killed when they withdrew from Afghanistan. There's a whole scandal behind that, by the way. And let's just say President Biden has not had, from a PR point of view, the best image on how he handled those families after they came home, unfortunately, which leads me to point number three. And I hate to do it in this way, but the analogy is so true. Growing up as a black person in America, sometimes you come across white people who say, oh, I'm not racist. My best friend is black. What does that got to do with what we're talking about? And that's what she was trying to do. Oh, well, President Biden, he doesn't despise veterans because his son was a veteran. What does that got to do with what we're talking about? Two things could be true at the same time. His son was a veteran, served honorably, unfortunately passed away, not in combat, by the way. And it's also true that he absolutely fumbled the Afghanistan withdrawal. I mean, that's just a fact. And that's the problem with politics today, is two things can't be true in the minds of people. So as I wrap up this video today, this is just another classic story of the media taking a clip from President Trump and doing whatever they can to diminish him. They can always pay people. They can always bring someone on who hates Trump to support their narrative. And every now and then they'll bring someone on to counter their narrative, of course, to make it look good, obviously. Because they are a dying breed. I mean, sooner or later, these news channels will be dead and gone. It's only a matter of time. It's not an if, it's just a when. That's my mindset. What's yours? What do you guys think about President Trump's comments? Do you believe what the media is telling you, that he was going out of his way to diminish veterans who have received the Congressional Medal of Honor? Or do you think that because he didn't really elaborate, but you kind of understood what he was trying to say, that he wasn't really doing that? And this is just another ploy by the media to make him look bad. I want to hear what your thoughts are and more in the comments section below. I want to say thank you for checking out the video today. Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to this channel, because we represent the truth here. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.